Ripple, Barclays, Coinbase, Citi, and other big companies from the US, UK, and other places. There was a big event going on behind us. We'll get a full report on what's going on. I don't like Rachel Reeves politically. So let's start this clip with Alan Crypto. I guess I shouldn't say that, but I do since I believe most people in the UK and other places agree with me. We love you guys over there. Most of our followers are from the United States. A lot of you, history books from both the US and UK has a lot of money. People who don't live here but are farther away are also thinking, hang on, that doesn't look good. People who know about the situation say that the US and UK will say we'll work together more on digital assets like cryptocurrencies. After Donald Trump agreed to work with a business, this will bring Britain and the US closer together. The UK will say how high, and the US will say jump. That was clear with Starmer's. He talked tough, but when they met, things didn't go as planned. When we say that America has all the power, but I'm afraid there's nothing we can do if facts bother you. It says that on Tuesday, Chancellor Rachel Reeves and US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent talked about how to make it easier for the US and EU to work together on digital assets and financial markets. Blockchain companies like Coinbase, Circle, and Ripple, as well as banks like Citi, Bank of America, and Barclays, talked about the idea at a meeting. All of these banks are connected to Ripple, which we'll likely talk about in a different movie today or tomorrow. The deal was made at the last minute. One of the people said that talks began after Cryptoverse wrote to the UK government on Thursday. She said that she thinks rules being more closely linked will make it easier for British companies to access the world's deepest and most liquid financial markets and bring more American investment to the UK. Rachel Reeves is Trump's top official in Britain. Okay, so the US wants to get along better with the UK, and to do that, they need to know more about some tools. A lot of people think that the US and UK will use Ripple's technology, which works some of the biggest banks in the world, to get this done faster. Someone else says that while Trump was with King Charles, Ripple met with the US Chancellor and the US Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent. As I quote, the executive director of Ripple said that the goal was to show other countries how to work together. Ladies and gentlemen, this is getting pretty juicy now. He was just reading what was over there in code. You start to wonder if the people who wrote about this union all those years ago were right all along, right? It seems like it's possible that some of these people went to the future and learned everything they know now. After this, there will be tens of trillions of dollars worth of repo transactions around the world. In the US alone, there will be nearly $12 trillion worth of repo transactions in 2020 with RLUS, DBS Bank, FTI Global, and Ripple will work together to make the first repo deal for tokenized money market funds possible. A lot of people want to know where the use case is. Who is going to use the tech? The biggest banks and states in the world are the only ones who can join. They say that Bitcoin is a waste of time and that XRP is the best way to deal with people around the world. This is Pierre Oliver, whose last name I can say. He is the head economist at the IMF. The coins in this set are stable to European stablecoins. Look in the UK now. Let's watch this video. I am going to tell you a lot of background about this. I believe the issue with stablecoins is more significant when considering the IMF as a national money system. There are many interesting links between stablecoins and euro-dollar assets, which were first in the 1960s and have since grown to be one of the most important types of assets traded all over the world. To give you an idea of how big if you look at the size of the steady coins and the size of the assets denominated in euros, you might wonder if we are in 1960, 1970, or 1980. Most likely, it's 1963 or 1964. It's still too early to say how big these markets really are. Still, we need to be careful because they can grow, and they can grow very fast. Now, tell me why I think they look a bit like euros. Since there are ways to trade dollars that don't happen in the same country as the dollars, but in a virtual world, they do happen. They also make people wonder about the safety of the banks if they aren't fully backed. It is possible to show that a steady coin is a claim to a US bank dollar. The safety of your money isn't at great risk. That's one more way to do it. It could end up like the euro, though, if it changes into something that isn't fully backed. They were not fully backed up at one point. The question is what the safety net is at some point. The Federal Reserve Bank, I had to help with that. In the past, the BIS also played a big role and used swap lines as a safety net. People who use dollar safe coins worry that their value might go up, which could hurt the economy if people don't trust how well they're backed. In the US, people are now talking about rules. In both the Senate and the House, people are talking about a number of bills. From what we know, they are now in this spot. It's important that these bills get the backing we think they deserve, but we'll see. We need to watch how things alter. What these safe coins can do if they get lost is another question. Someone that they can try is getting people who usually pay with cash to use those stable dollar coins instead. In that way, you could trade money, yes. Some countries may not be able to afford to change their currencies, and it may be harder for monetary policy to reach people in those countries. That raises the risk even more. Then the question is about the places where these things are happening. What do they do about it? Making everything cost $1 is the same thing, if you'll let me. How about the third one? Have you taken enough safety measures to keep the deal secret? Can you think about this all the way through? All of these tasks will be done on blockchain, which will prove that the money is real. Right now, banks can make money appear out of nowhere. You have no idea what's going on. Business owners, people. And once everything is on blockchain, all countries will be able to trust it again. A lot of people have lost that trust over time. And to look at steady coins in the euro area that work with Ripple. In Europe in 2025, steady coins are being used more and more. This is possible thanks to the new MiCA rules that make it legal to make stablecoins. The XRP ledger from Ripple is an important part of both the start of stablecoins for the euro and the support for payment systems all over the eurozone. People and businesses use Ripple and XRP a lot now that the euro-backed stablecoins allow on the XRP ledger. This is because banks and fintechs value clear rules more. There are more and more banks that are using the XRP ledger to make safe coins. Why? Since they are just XRPs, you can think of them as small bridge investments. You can sell those stable coins for other stable coins on the XRP platform or something else of value. The real value is on the XRP record. Being able to give and receive money easily with a stable coin is one thing. A bridge asset can save you a lot of money and speed up the process. It also gives you a lot of new options that you hadn't thought of before. It says that Ripple started the euro on the first euro stable coin that Schumann Financial put out on the XRP system in May 2025. What do you think the name of this coin is? It's used in fully backed 1-1 euro funds that are checked often. Yes, you should do this a lot because it's very important. No matter what, who can't get an audit? Link up. This is because it's clear that something strange is going on behind the scenes. If Tether had the money, it makes sense that they would pay 5 vols of 10 million for an audit. How would you handle that if it was the main thing your opponent said about you if you owned a huge company? Okay, you should now take care of it. You should not be sneaky and try to hide things. That's what institutions want from you. Because of this, banks like Bank of America, Citi, and Barclays will work with Ripple instead of Tether for now. You can depend on Tether. One thing that is said is that Ripple is working with Luxembourg to get an EMI electronic money institution license. Some features like the RLSD steady coin will be able to work in 30 Eurozone countries if they are successful. That's it. These are some of the other stable coins that have been made in Europe. Take a look. You have some in your XRP wallet. They're on more than one network, but that has nothing to do with Bitcoin, right? Yes, these banks really mean it when they say this, and Ripple